Sí. Yo no pienso, tú sabes, yo no pienso que eso es así, pero vamos a ver lo que pasa porque eso no es normal, Kino. Eso no es normal. Vamos a ver lo que pasa, porque que esto no es normal. Entonces, pues uno no quiere, porque la gente se vuelve loco en el YouTube, se vuelve loco de obsess, se vuelven obsesivos, se vuelven obsesivos y con el content, ¿tú entiendes? Yo solo voy a explicar ahí ahora, porque la verdad que yo no puedo creer lo que tú me enseñaste, el link que tú me mandaste, me dejaste con la boca abierta. Me dejaste con la boca abierta porque que eso no, esas cosas no pueden pasar, porque coño, eso no puede pasar. Increíble. Pero hay que hacerlo de una forma para que ellos se pongan contentos. ¿Tú entiendes, Kino? Escríbemelo. Tú me lo escribes y yo se lo digo a ellos. Mm, claro, vamos a ver. Sí, tenemos aquí the Night at the Roxbury Brothers, you know? Y tenemos Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. Y tenemos Hermy the English Elf, el inglés. Vamos a ver lo que sale aquí con esta gente para darle un watch market update también. Y tú quieres que yo diga que please don't forget to subscribe, que escriban al canal. A ver. Tú me lo escribes, me lo enseñas. Welcome, welcome. We're number one by Fudinki. Number one by Fudinki. Sí. Vamos allá. Vamos a darle. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show in the world. You know, before I get into anything, my manager, no other than Sweet Kick Kino, wants me to tell all of you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, you know? Don't forget to subscribe to this unbelievable organic watch channel and like our videos, you know? Kino's giving me instructions and I must do as he says. He doesn't want me to say this at the end. He wants me to say it at the beginning of the show. So I have to follow my manager's instructions. He's telling me to don't forget, you know, you people out there, to subscribe to this unbelievable organic watch channel. Lo dije como tú me dijiste. I said it the way you wanted me to say it. You know, I got that out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, we have a great show today lined up for you guys. You know, it's a very, very good show we have for you guys. It's an unbelievable show, ladies and gentlemen. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know something, and I mean this in a very serious way. The secondary grade watch market doesn't know what to do and how to flim-flam you and fleece you anymore. You know, I mean, as you know, we bring the truth to this channel, the truth, and nothing but the truth. And I think we've done a good job by voicing out to all of you out there that the secondary grade watch market is dead. It is dead. And ladies and gentlemen, these platforms out there, they don't know what to do no more with their products. You know, they don't know what to do with it because nobody is buying watches. And I mean this, ladies and gentlemen, nobody is buying watches. And that is a good thing for all of you out there because of you guys out there. This is what's happening, you know? The watch market is dead and nobody's buying watches, all right? It's not because of tariffs and all this Mickey Mouse stuff. This has been happening for the last 2 years. The secondary grade watch market is dead. All right, guys? So I want you guys to know that and keep in mind that the secondary grade watch market is dead, and these people don't know what to do to bring in customers to buy watches. And I'm talking about any platform that you belong to is dead. Nobody's buying watches, right, guys? And it's all because of you. You know, you're doing the right thing. You're holding on. And as summer is getting closer, things are going to get worse and worse and worse. But ladies and gentlemen, something disturbing happened today that my manager, Sweet Kid Kino, you know, when Kino's on the job, you know, nothing passes by him. He sees everything, and he sends me links so I can look at. And ladies and gentlemen, we saw something today. As content creators, you know, we cannot become obsessive, you know. We cannot have an obsession with this. You know, you can't. You can't take this very serious. And we saw something today on one of our, you know, fellow, you know, watch content, you know, makers out there. You know, we saw a gentleman out of the UK, you know, out of the UK, the United Kingdom. And we call this gentleman, you know, we call him in a sweet way, we call him Hermy the English Elf, you know, from the UK. You know, Hermy the English Elf. He's unbelievable, you know. He's incredible. He's very intense, and he's unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, he had a meltdown today live on his channel. He had a meltdown. He went nuts. His eye was about to pop out, and I mean this. You have to see. I'm gonna voice out so you guys go see his channel and see that video. He was going crazy. He was using foul language. He was saying so much foul language that I couldn't believe it. He had like a nervous breakdown live on YouTube. Unbelievable. A nervous breakdown. Hermy the English Elf. I am telling you, with the pain in my heart, I believe he had a nervous breakdown today. And the reason that he had this, I believe, this breakdown, you know, this meltdown, he was having it out with no other than the Walrus Fat Bastard. Unbelievable. They were having it out. You know, Hermy the English Elf was saying so many bad words. I've never seen somebody say so many bad words like this Hermy the English Elf out of the UK said today. And he was just very, very, very mad at the Walrus Fat Bastard, because Hermy, at one moment, for what I understand, Hermy was like an ambassador of a watch that one of these watchmakers sent him a watch. And Hermy was like a subscriber, you know, Hermy the English Elf. But and he said the watch was pretty good. But then I don't know what happened, you know, because I'm telling you, this man, Hermy the English Elf, had a breakdown today live, you know, on YouTube. Unbelievable. And just saying, I'm telling you, I can't, I'm going to get tired of telling you of how many bad words he said today. It was unbelievable. But now the person that has this line that Hermy the English Elf had, now the Walrus Fat Bastard has it, and he is selling it like for $2,000, you know, a watch. And Hermy the English Elf went after the company that makes the watch. I believe it's called Liga Watchmakers. You know, he started saying bad words to Liga Watchmakers and started saying bad words to the Walrus Fat Bastard, and he just went nuts, ladies and gentlemen. And I gotta tell you, because this man looked very disturbed on camera. You know, Hermy the English Elf. He looked very disturbed, nervioso, very nervous, and one eye was, you know, I don't know, it was about to pop out. And that's, you know, very dangerous, because he was really straining, you know, and straining, you know, and I felt bad. I really felt bad for Hermy, the English elf, you know, going after the Walrus fat bastard. And it was unbelievable. I think you guys should go take a look see at that video that I'm talking about, because I mean, I'm telling you, I have never seen, you know, we are YouTube content creators, and we have to be sometimes, you know, pause and in our best behavior, and you know, and do things, you know, nice. I don't believe in using foul language, but I don't know what happened to Hermy, the English elf. If anybody out there knows what happened to him, why did he act the way he acted, please, you know, put it up there, you know, put your comment, because it was crazy the way he was. I mean, he looked disturbed. He looked mad. He looked mad. I thought that they were going to pick him up and take him in to an assignment or something, an asylum, you know, one of those places where they lock you up, because he was crazy. So to all you, you know, young YouTubers, you have to have, you know, calm, you know, and respect and all that good stuff, because I mean, he was smashing watches, and I'm telling you, he was crazy. I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell us what happened out there with this gentleman. You know, it was crazy. I wasn't very happy, you know, seeing this. You know, I mean, you know, exactly. Maybe they're gonna have a you know, a boxing match. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. If anybody saw this video, you'll be scared. I was very disturbed, because if I see myself acting that way, I'm done. I'm out, because that means that I lost, you know, perdí la chola, you know. La chola is the head. I lost my head, you know, and that can't be like that. It was very, very dangerous and sad, you know. He was, yeah, you see that? He was very, very upset, and it wasn't an act. You know, it wasn't an act. You know, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a character he was playing. You can tell that he was very, very disturbed. And you can't take these things to heart, because, you know, if you take it to heart, you're going to get sick. And I mean that. And I'm going to talk to you, Hermy, the English elf. You need to probably slow down. You're big time already, man. You are bigger than Sweet Kick Kino already, Hermy. Hermy, the English elf, is bigger than Sweet Kick Kino, but he needs to relax. I don't know what happened to him, and that's maybe, you know, you need to check yourself, because, you know, it was. I'm telling you, if you look at his eye was growing. It was big. It was, you know, and I'm not making fun of this. I'm not making no joke. I'm talking serious. It wasn't a good thing to see. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, you got to go to Hermy, the English elf's channel, so you can see what I mean. I mean, he just went on for 6 minutes saying foul language and breaking watches and the Walrus fat bastard and the Walrus fat bastard and unbelievable, and Hermy and that company La Liga watchmakers, La Liga. You know, so it's a global watch, a globe. You know, a globe. You know, like an earth, you know, I don't know. These people, you know, so it's a war now, because Hermy had the watch first, you know, he was the ambassador, and now the fat bastard, you know, the Walrus fat bastard has the, you know, the ambassador now, and it was crazy. I mean, increíble, Kino, ¿verdad? La verdad que me dio mucha pena ver a Hermy así, you know. No me gustó ver el ojo. El ojo estaba fuera botado. I didn't like that. The eye scared me. When you look at the eye, you let me know. It looked like a shake something, you know, something, you know, shake Sheffer, you know. I don't know, but it was not good, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm trying to say. It wasn't good, you know, so it wasn't good. Ladies and gentlemen, I also I want to talk about something else. You know, again, I hope Hermy, the English elf, feels better. He looked very disturbed. I also want to talk about something else, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we also have this gentleman. We're going to be talking about boxing today, because, you know, it looked like today, you know, those two gentlemen were going to have a boxing fight. But I saw a gentleman that basically he doesn't have no more sales content, because nobody's buying watches. And we're talking about no other than Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. And he's becoming now like another ambassador himself, because there's no more content to be made on selling watches, you know, having the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown answer the phone, Dora the Explorer, you know, Jiminy Cricket with the Chia Pet spray can hair. They don't have that no more. So now this guy's making like, he's like Johnny Carson, you know, like the Tonight Show, you know, and he's talking to different watch manufacturers. In this case, we're talking about a watch with a crown, the crown, you know, a crown, and he's talking about it, and he's talking to the owner of the factory, and it's unbelievable. He's wearing a suit and everything, a sport jacket, and because there's no more content, ladies and gentlemen, to be made. The watch market is dead. So he's trying to become now something like toupee wigman, you know, with pink shoes, green pants, purple belt, flower shirt, you know, toupee wigman. He's trying to be like that now because there's no more content. But ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm giving this person a voice out. I'm giving Deputy Boxing Black Eyes a voice out, so all of you can go see that show too. And you're not gonna believe it. He's gonna hit the speed bag, you know, the little speed bag in boxing, and he hits it, you know. He's because he has that watch, you know, the anchor watch. I don't know the name of the company, so he's showing it. It's like it's ultra light, you know, it's oxygen light, you know, unbelievable watch. And he hits the speed bag, you know, the boxing speed bag. He hits it, and the pair of speed bag almost hits him in his boxing black eyes. It was unbelievable. So you gotta see him. He doesn't have no more content. He doesn't know what to do no more. He doesn't know what to invent because he cannot no longer, you know, no more. No more logo to you guys, you know, because it can't be done no more. So, you know, take a look, see at him too. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening in the secondary gray watch market, I thought I would never be part of this. They say out there that I have single-handedly disrupted and rattled, you know, the secondary gray watch market by ourselves, you know, by me and Sweet Kid Kino. Kino's the brains, I'm the voice, and I'm telling you, you have to see him. You know, the Deputy Boxing Black Eyes has a sport jacket on. Unbelievable. I think it looks like it's a good jacket. I think it's from J. Crew, or ¿cuál me dijiste? El Guineo, Banana Republic, I think it is. He looks unbelievable, but his eyes are getting darker than ever. I'm telling you, this Deputy Boxing's eyes are getting real dark, and when he hits, again, I'm telling you, when he hits the speed bag, you know, in the show over there in Geneva, the speed bag, you know, pair, it went back and it almost hit him in his black eyes. It was unbelievable. You got to see that too, ladies and gentlemen. So that was over there in Geneva, you know. You got to go see that. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something else, because in this channel, we tell you the truth. We tell you that the watch market is dead. He did. You know, we have those two gentlemen from the night at the Roxbury, you know? The night at the Roxbury, you know, the two brothers. One is smart, one is dumber, one is tall, one is shorter. It's unbelievable, those guys, you know? One talks a lot, one doesn't talk, you know? He's over there, and they have their sidekick, you know, they have their sidekick, that toupee wig man, you know? Again, with the purple pants, pointy shoes, you know? Pink belt, flower shirts, and that toupee hair, and he's worth over $400 million, and he drives Ferraris, Rolls Royce, Bentleys, and he has I don't know, an $80 million house, but he's selling watches, you know? He's selling watches to flim-flam you and fleece you. You know, when you have that amount of money, you have to do these things, you know, to continue living the lifestyle you want to keep on living. You know how it is, you know? But it is like it is. Thank you very much for that super chat, Mr. Joey. Thank you very much. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you very, very much. And ladies and gentlemen, so things are really bad in the Muppet secondary gray watch market. People are doing crazy things. I'm telling you, you got to see those two gentlemen. Now, you don't know who the night at the Roxbury brothers are? You don't know who they are? That's that company over there from California, you know, Happy Feet, you know, Happy Feet. Those two brothers, you know, I'm telling you, you know, one has hair, the other one doesn't have hair. One is shorter, one is taller. One talks, one doesn't talk. You know, two brothers. You know, one has more power than the other one. He's just there. You know, he's like a fly on a wall. Unbelievable. So you gotta go see that one over there because they're crazy, those people. You know, and you see to pay Whitman that he's trying hard to sell watches. You know, to make you think that the watch market is up and running. Ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is dead. And I'm going to show you today with the watch market update that I'm going to give you. You know, I have to give you this watch market update because you guys need it to protect yourself from these flim-flammers who've been fleecing you for so long until this gentleman by the name of Sweet Kino to me, Joaquin to you came along. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot continue being crumb bums. You cannot continue being window lickers and tomato cans. We have a lot of you who have been recovering tomato cans, and we appreciate that you're here in this channel. And we need to watch over you and protect you from these flim-flammers. You know, these people want you to continue maintaining their lifestyle, their red gold fast car. You know, their Louis Vuitton Nike sneakers, their Montclair sweaters, their Supreme hoodies, you know, their sushi dinner, you know, their steak dinner. You know, the guy with the white t-shirt and the sunglasses and the Patek in his hand, you know, and he puts a barbecue bone in your mouth and he pulls it out and then he uses chop, 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 chop. You know what I'm saying? You cannot continue doing that, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot continue giving away your children's tuition money. While me and Sweet Kino here, that cannot happen, ladies and gentlemen. They want us out, but they can't get us out. We have been chosen as the #1 watch market update show in the world by no other than Fudinki. You don't know who Fudinki is? You Google it. You know, you cannot continue being misogynist. You cannot continue being misogynist, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to permit that, ladies and gentlemen. I have an unbelievable watch market update that's going to blow your hair back off and your socks off. Unbelievable. This is incredible what I have for you guys. I'm telling you how it is, ladies and gentlemen, you know? And to all of you out there, Manishma. If you don't know what Manishma is, you Google it because I'm not going to tell you, and neither is Sweet Kino. Manishma to all my friends out there. You know who you are. Manishma. You know? Manishma. If anybody knows what the word Manishma is, you put it up there, ladies and gentlemen. Manishma. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into the watch market update because this is what you guys like. This is why you guys are here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to give it to you straight. We have some important subscribers from our channel that want me to do Patek Philippe watch market update. So I have a little mix up with, you know, different brands for you guys so you guys don't feel bad, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus. You know, two-tone, rose gold with stainless steel. The 5980 with a blue dial. Unbelievable looking time machine, ladies and gentlemen. This watch at one moment in that Corona era. In that Corona era, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when they were doing this to you, in the Corona era, when they were doing this to you, you know, if you don't know what this means, you need to Google it. And ladies and gentlemen, in that Corona era, this watch was over $160. You know, a Patek Philippe Nautilus. 5980, two-tone, rose gold with stainless steel. You know, a 40mm, casing. You know, unbelievable looking time machine. You know, but honestly, ladies and gentlemen, two-tone watches in my time, they were considered dogs with fleas. Unbelievable but true. The retail price of this watch is $78,070, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable but true. Unbelievable. We're talking about a used slider condition material watch in this channel. Don't get that confused. Used slider condition material. And if you don't know what used slider condition material watches is, you need to Google it, because I'm not going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do yourself a favor and don't pay for that Patek. Don't pay for that 5980 two-tone. Don't pay more than $88,000. And unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is dead. Unbelievable. Our next watch, it is a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5712 rose gold with a leather bracelet, 40 millimeter. Retail price of that watch is $55,590. Again, with a 40 millimeter casing. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And it has your favorite word. You know, collector's dream, collector's choice, collector's gray. You know, discontinue what you like, ladies and gentlemen. You know, what you like. And I'm going to have to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you pay for that Patek Nautilus 5712 rose gold. I mean, you do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know we're talking about a leather strap. This is not fully gold. Just the casing is rose gold. Okay? I'm giving you a heads up. Just the case is rose gold. The rest is leather and the buckle is rose gold. And I'm going to tell you the retail price of that watch is $55,590. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a discontinued watch. Don't pay for that watch and you do yourself a favor. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $84,000. And the watch market is dead. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your money. If you still want to get the logo, you're going to get it. They'll give it to you because they need it. They need to give somebody the logo because they need someone to maintain their lifestyle. Esta gente está jodido, papi. Ustedes no pueden seguir de lambones. Ustedes son un bonche de lambones que le gustan regalar el dinero y que le hagan esto. Y que le hagan esto, papi. Eso es así. Our next watch is an unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. This watch that I'm going to talk to you guys about, this watch in the Corona beer era. I repeat, in the Corona beer era, this watch was over $350,000. $350,000. 350,000 maracas. You know, $350,000. You know, a Patek Nautilus, white gold 5740. Unbelievable blue dial, 40 millimeter. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Over $350,000 in that Corona beer era, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable but true. With a retail price of $156,600. This watch is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. Let me demonstrate it to you. Así que, you know, it's dead. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen, but the watch market is dead. And I'm going to tell you, for this unbelievable time machine, probably the most powerful, if not the most powerful Nautilus, man, it's there. It's top 3, top 2. I'm telling you. 5740 blue dial. Oh, man, what a complication this watch has. Monster of a watch. Retail price, like I told you, $156,600, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. No matter what these flim-flammers, no matter what these hucksters, hoodwinks, you know, spoof balls tell you that the watch market is up and running, watch market is dead. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is buying watches, ladies and gentlemen. We know so. Sweet Kikino knows so, because he's the brains behind this channel. Ese que una jodienda, papi. Don't pay for that 5740. Don't pay for that 5740 Nautilus. It's unbelievable. It's an embarrassment, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you should start looking into this watch. Maybe if you have that type of, you know, deep pockets, maybe you should look into it. Don't pay for that watch, for that 5740. Don't pay more than $174,000. And unbelievable, the watch market is dead. Unbelievable. Our next watch is an unbelievable watch. It's another Patek Philippe Nautilus. Unbelievable. This one is white gold. White gold. Unbelievable. Unbelievable looking time machine. 5712 with a gray dial. 40 millimeter. At one moment in that Corona beer era, it was over $150,000. The retail price of that watch is $55,590. Discontinued as well. Collector's choice, collector's grade. Unbelievable. Collector's dream. You know, your word. You know, unbelievable. They discontinued this watch 3 months ago. 2 months ago to discontinue the whole stash of these watches. Watch market is dead. I have Mr. Wicked here saying $70,000. He's looking real good. Any more takers? 70,000, 75, 74, 73, 72, 75. Yeah? No, we have nobody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to tell you, you know, with the pain in my heart, if you're banking on the watch, I don't know. And if you're not, you're looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that 5712 Nautilus white gold, gray dial, leather strap, with a retail price of $55,590. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $63,000. And le voy a tirar duro. Watch market get. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you have, whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You guys can't hear me? You guys can't hear me, or you guys can hear me? Because if you can't hear me, so I can get out of here already. I can go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an unbelievable watch. You know, these Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealers and channels who are trying to flim-flam you and fleece you with this, thank you very much, Wicked, with this watch model. It's an unbelievable watch model. I might say whatever I say, but this is an unbelievable time machine. We're talking about a Patek Philippe Nautilus white gold 5980 with a blue jean dial and a blue jean strap. Unbelievable time machine, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. You know, with that blue jean strap. You know, when they first released this watch, the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels and dealers went bananas. I mean, they weren't bananas. They were talking about numbers in this watch. They was unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. They were saying that this watch was going to reach the number of $275,000. You know that? Unbelievable. These people are unbelievable. These people are cretins. So we're not going to reyes. They're a bunch of cockroaches. These guys are cockroaches, you know? These guys are monkeys telling you people out there, giving you subliminal message that this watch was going to go to $275,000 because they were trying to give you the, you know, they were trying to give it to you. Somebody put it up there, put a comment up there, put a logo up there, put a logo. Somebody put a logo up there, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. $275,000. Unbelievable. Thank you, Wicked. Thank you. $275,000 for 5980 blue jean dial, blue jean strap. Retail price of that watch is $78,950. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, I've been studying it for the last 6 months, and it's been dropping like this. You know, and dropping. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Premium. Dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because nobody is going to tell you a watch market like this channel. You know, like this channel, nobody's going to give it to you. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do yourself a favor and protect your children's tuition money. And you guys protect your 401k, you know, protect your 401k and don't pay for that 5980 blue jean dial, blue jean strap. Don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want, but don't pay more than $153,000. And damn, unbelievable, unbelievable. What a bunch of cretins, you know, what a bunch of cockroaches. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to advise you, don't buy that watch. If you plan to buy that watch, buy it in the month of August. Everybody is in summer vacation, and these cockroaches are going desperate for sales. And you'll get it cheaper than that. You'll get it cheaper than that. Nobody is ever going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. You know why I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen? I'm telling you this because I'm stupid like that. because I am stupid just like that. Nobody's ever going to give you a watch market up like this one. Nobody. The day that I'm gone is over. You guys are all on your own. You guys are going to just have memories of no other than Sweet Kid Kino and me. That's all. You're going to have memories of me because nobody would ever give you a watch market update, a truthful watch market update like this channel. We have people that come all over the place to come and see this, and hear, come and spook, come and spook. I'm just telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Wicked, for that super chat. Thank you very much. Wicked's unbelievable. This Wicked is unbelievable. Mr. Wicked, he's always supporting the channel. Unbelievable. I mean, Wicked, you don't need to do it, but thank you very much again. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch that I talked to you about this watch a couple of weeks ago, but for some reason, our voice, we had audio problems, and I couldn't really give you the watch market update on this watch. But this watch, at one moment in the Corona beer era, when this watch was going to get discontinued, it went all the way up, like the song, all the way up, It went to $350,000, $400,000. We're talking about the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711 with a G.I. Joe green dial, with a, one of those green dials, fatigue, fatiga, como la fatiga de Vietnam, como le veían, Vietnam, ¿tú me entiendes? Vietnam, unbelievable. And then when they discontinue the Patek Philippe 5711 Nautilus, with the blue dial, they made this one, as a going away, they made this, I don't know, like 175 pieces, of these watches, And this green dial Nautilus has a retail price of $34,700, And this watch went all the way up, all the way up to $400,000, $400,000. It was a real big long line of lollipop suckers, window lickers, tomato cans, crumb bums, crayon eaters, possum kickers, cow tippers. They were all there in a big line ready to give away $400,000, $350,000 to all these flim-flammers who have been fleecing you out of your children's tuition money for years, until Sweet Kid Kino and I came along and we stopped the bleeding. That's right. We stopped it. We're the ones that stopped it, ladies and gentlemen. And that green dial, like I told you, it has a retail price of $34,700, and it went all the way up to that number I'm telling you. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is getting worrisome for these people, Discontinue. Collector's choice. Collector's dream, Collector's grade. Unbelievable. Discontinue. Don't pay for that watch, and it's dropping. And I'm going to advise you again, if you're looking to buy that green dial Patek 5711 Nautilus, don't pay. And I mean, don't pay right now. Don't pay more than $162,000 and dropping. But wait until the summer. You'll get it $15,000 less. La situación está jodida, papi. There's no money out there. There's no money out there. There's no more SBA loans, no more PPP loans, no more government grants, no more stimulus checks, no more protection, employment check protection plan. It's unbelievable. There's nothing out there. Estamos jodidos, papi. There's no money out there. And those tariffs are going bananas. I'm telling you, they're going bananas. You do whatever you want with your money. It's your money, and you do whatever you want. But the watch market is dead. Just like that gentleman said right now, the watch market is dead. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an unbelievable looking watch. It is the Patek Philippe Nautilus, stainless steel, 5711 with a blue dial. 40 millimeter. It went over $200,000 when that watch got discontinued, ladies and gentlemen. This is the same watch that I just finished talking about. The one with the green dial, this is the blue dial. And it went to $200,000. I have that watch, ladies and gentlemen. I have that watch and I missed the bus. I didn't get on the bus because I'm a loyal kind of guy. You know, I got that watch from an owner of Patek Philippe AD. You know, I did a big job of marble in their house. But that's besides the point. I didn't sell mine. I still have mine, and that's how it is. I missed the bus. And that watch again has a retail price of $34,700. And ladies and gentlemen, it went over $200,000. And I'm gonna have to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for no Patek, Nautilus 5711 stainless steel with a blue dial. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, but don't pay more than $83,000 and done. Uno más, ¿verdad? Done again. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you how it is, ladies and gentlemen. The secondary gray watch market is dead. Dead. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But the watch market is dead. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is an unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus stainless steel 5712. Fully stainless steel. Fully stainless steel. Blue dial, 40 millimeter. And went all the way up, all the way up. This watch went all the way up to $160, $175, $150, $140. And then they discontinued, and the people went nuts again. And 150, 130, they were going nuts with this watch, ladies and gentlemen. This watch has a retail price of $51,850. Discontinued as well. Collector's choice, collector's gray, collector's dream. All those collector things, is discontinued, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, don't believe, that hoopla of discontinued watches. When discontinued watches get discontinued, they flatline and die. They die. They die in a cemetery. They're dead. It's just to get you hyped up while they're talking about it, to entice you, to give you that subliminal message. When the watch gets discontinued, it's going to jump up to $1 million. Sure, logo is what you're going to get. Logo is what you're going to get. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Don't pay for that Patek Nautilus stainless steel 5712. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $87,000. And you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, Papa. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is a funny watch. I get a big kick out of this watch. I get a real big kick. Even Kino likes to laugh on this watch. We're going to be talking about a Rolex. A Rolex stainless steel. To all you Rolex fans out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know that all the Rolex bolts are packed with watches. They're embarrassed. They don't know what to do. All the Rolex ADs are packed with watches. And if they're gold, gold watches, they're like this. They don't know what to do. It's an embarrassment. We're going to be talking about that soon. But it's packed, loaded up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a watch that they will flim-flamming you in the year 2024 that it's going to get discontinued. It's going to get discontinued. People out there pay for this watch $29,000. $29,000. This watch has a retail price of $10,800. Unbelievable. And people were talking about they're going to have to discontinue it. The flim-flammers, those hoodwinks and hucksters. They're going to have to discontinue because, the bezel with the red and blue is almost impossible to put it together. Lottie. And people there, and you should see these people, the way they sit down and look at the, at the Muppet dealer, when they explain to them, they're like this, for real, yes. And people paid $29,000. And a couple of weeks ago, last week, It wasn't discontinued. We're talking about the Rolex stainless steel GMT, with a Jubilee bracelet, with a black dial, with a red and blue ceramic bezel. The Jubilee, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. 40 millimeter. Retail price $10,800. Reference number 126710BLRO, ladies and gentlemen. And it went all the way up. All the way up. Recently people paid $29,000 for that watch. You gotta be bananas. Kino, es que tiene que ser como mierda para comprar un reloj que vale 10,800 y paguen $29,000. Unbelievable, this gentleman by the name of Mike. He hit it right in the nose. He hit it right in the nose, ladies and gentlemen. Hay que ser un gilipollas, Kino, para pagar por un Pepsi, una Pepsi Cola, el reloj Pepsi, con el Jubilee. $29,000. And I told, Kino said that we're going to discontinue it. Kino said it, and I said that we're not going to discontinue it. Because they're going to keep on, this is the poster child to continue flim-flamming you, like what they did with the Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona, the John Mayer, same thing, 180, don't pay more than 50. That's what it is. I'm telling you what it is. But let's go back to the Rolex GMT Pepsi with the Jubilee bracelet. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman by the name of Doc. And Doc beat Mike. Doc beat Mike. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay more than $17,300. Aguántame, Kino. Aguántame. ¡Dame! Le voy a dar. ¡Dame! He did. You do whatever you want. You imagine the man that spent $29,000 in the airport Hilton here in the last show here in Miami? I mean, it's sickening. Sickening. It is sickening to pay $29,000 for that watch. You gotta be, coño, ¿cómo se llama aquello? Hare Krishna. No. You gotta be a Meshuggah to pay $29,000. You know that? You imagine the dealer that sold that watch for $29,000? He's Saf. You know what the word Saf is? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. He's Saf, that poor man. $29,000. You tell him, Damon, I try hard. I try to educate my, recovering tomato cans. I try to educate them. But that gentleman said 17,500 and he hit. I said 17. Another gentleman said 18 and then 17.5 and I said 17.3. And don't you dare pay more than that. The watch market is dead. Don't forget it. That Pepsi, papi, eso está, he dead. He dead. He dead. I'm telling you, it's dead. I'm just letting you know it's dead. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Yellow Gold Yacht Master 44 millimeter. Unbelievable white dial with a blue ceramic bezel, with a blue hand. The older version, the discontinued one, because you have the Mercedes-Benz, Yacht Master 44, and you have the older version with the blue hand. The blue hand has been discontinued. And ladies and gentlemen, discontinue. A reference number on this watch, it is the 116688, and it has a retail price of $43,500. And ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your children's tuition money. You do whatever you want. But don't pay. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is like this watch, I consider it like the brick from AP. The AP has a rose gold brick. It weighs, I don't know, it's unbelievable. It's like 2 pounds it weighs. Unbelievable that, I'm only kidding. I don't know how much it weighs, but it weighs a lot, that AP brick. And this Yacht Master Yellow Gold 44 millimeter, it weighs a whole lot too. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Yacht Master Yellow Gold 44 millimeter with a retail price of $43,500. don't pay more than $29,000 and done, right? You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. In this channel, we give it to you the way it is, Poppy. We don't hide, man. We don't hide. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to go take a look at that gentleman over there, you know, Hermy, the English elf. He had a breakdown, a meltdown today. You know, the English elf. You know, Hermy, the English elf out of the UK. He had a meltdown and he was going at it with, you know, with the walrus fat bastard. And I think that, you know, we should, you know, go check on him because he really, I'm telling you, what really surprised me about him today, I gotta tell you, was the way his eye, you know, his eye behaved, you know, and I didn't like the way his eye behaved, you know, it came out. Una cosa increíble, you know, el ojo le salió a Hermy the English elf, unbelievable, you know, just, you know, unbelievable. Not too happy about that. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is another Rolex white gold Yacht Master, 44 millimeter white dial, you know, with the white platinum, you know, bezel. Unbelievable. You know, another Yacht Master, 44. Unbelievable. Reference number 116689. You know, with another blue hand, you know, older version. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch has a retail price. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen, of $48,150. You know, I'm going to tell you something because I want to buy this watch. Not the yellow one. I want to buy the white one. But I'm telling you, I want to buy it at $22,000. I am a buyer at $22,000 full set. When it hits 22, I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for that Rolex white gold Yacht Master 44 millimeter white dial. Reference number 116689 with the blue hand. Don't pay more than $24,000 and you do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Our next watch is a Rolex stainless steel Submariner 41 millimeter. Black dial, black bezel. Reference number 126610LN. 41 millimeter. Unbelievable. You know, the retail price of this watch is $10,400. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch is a watch that we have been offered brand new, fully sticker is the date of this month of April. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take charge and tell you, you do whatever you want. You do. The Rolex Submariners right now, they're dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. You hear me? Wow, Doc. Wow, fire. Fire in that Doc. Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, those watches are dropping. It's a shame, but it's the truth. I already told you the retail price of a brand new watch. If you buy it in the Caribbean, it's a little less. If you buy it in the States, you're going to pay, let's say an example, I don't know, $10,800 plus taxes and all that good stuff. And I'm going to tell you exactly what a gentleman just said right now, Doc. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than, this is a brand new one, April. Don't pay more than $11,200. And just letting you know, listen, guys, you got to say $11,200 because, you know, these Michiganders got to pay tax on that watch. So we're just putting it there at even money. I could say even under that. And if you guys want to pay under that, you're right. Pay under that. Okay? Pay under that. The watch monkey be damned. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a watch here that a couple of years ago when the watch came out, you had the yellow gold with the crayon green. You know, we're talking about the Rolex date, you know, the Prezi. And it came with the crayon green, not the olive green, yellow gold with a crayon green. And at the same time, another watch came out. It was a white gold, you know, a President date, white gold with a blue dial. And everybody went nuts because the blue dial is like the signature, you know, Patek blue dial, Vacheron Constantin blue dial, you know, whatever it is. AP blue dial. Are you getting it? You know, Rolex blue dial. Anything is blue. So they took out that beautiful watch, you know? And you know, we had a gentleman that went all the way up there, you know, to that country in Dubai. You know, the war is fat bastard. And when he was over there, he bought that watch. If you ever saw that episode when the war is fat bastard goes to Dubai to try to make a business over there, open his own company, he goes over there to try to flim flam and fleece those people. Those people over there will take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. That's how shrewd they are, the ones over there, you know, in Dubai, you know. But he went over there and he bought this watch, the white gold with the blue dial. And he bought it for $33,000, ladies and gentlemen. You know? Unbelievable watch. Unbelievable. Rolex white gold day 40 millimeter. Reference number 228239. Blue dial. Retail price. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I'm teaching you guys too much. You know? Aquí no le estamos enseñando mucho a esta gente. Le estamos enseñando mucho, pero mucho a esta gente. $46,300, ladies and gentlemen. $46,300. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Nobody knows? No takers, huh? You guys are lost there. I already gave you a hint what the war is fat bastard paid over there in Dubai for the watch. I'm going to tell you here in America. Watch market dead. Ready? Don't pay more. And I mean, don't pay more for that beautiful white gold day with a blue dial. Don't pay more. Full set. If it ain't full set, you don't want it. Don't pay more than $30,000. And dum! Uno más. Dum! Watch market dead. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch here on price drops. You know, price drops. This is when those platforms, they have a watch, an example for exactly, it is a while. When they have a watch for, let's say, $60,000 and they put a price drop of, $49,000, you know, right? $60,000 to $49,000. This is watch here is a Patek Philippe Complications, Platinum, Blue Dial, World Time, 5230p with a 38.5 millimeter casing. Retail price is $73,330. Unbelievable time machine. And I'm telling you, this watch, they dropped it from $60,000 to $53,000. $53,000. From $60,000 to $53,000. It's a 2022 watch. Unbelievable. Complications. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, from $60,000 they dropped it to $53,000. And ladies and gentlemen, me and Sweet Cake Kino are going to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Just in case they want to keep on giving you the old logo, you know? You understand me? Listen and learn. Listen and learn. And we're talking about a full set. If it ain't full set, you don't want it. They don't pay for that Patek, you know, complications. Don't pay. I mean, you do whatever you want. Don't pay for that $5,230. Don't pay more than $44,000 and done. Watch my getting dead, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting disgusting. Disgusting. And getting disgusting. Papi, people want to pay their mortgage. People want to pay their children's tuition money. You know? People got other things to do than to be buying watches and keep on hearing this fling lie, you know, wishy-washy that the watch market is an investment. Watches are an investment. Logo. Use them, have fun, but they ain't no investment. They ain't no investment, ladies and gentlemen. La situación está jodida, muchachos. No sean pendejos. La situación está jodida. I'm telling you, la situación está jodida. Save your money. Save your money. Things are going to get really ugly. I mean, I'm telling you, things are going to get really, really ugly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into our last watch of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our next watch is another Patek Philippe Complications World Time, 5130. Unbelievable white gold, fully casing and bracelet. White gold. Unbelievable watch. 39.5 millimeter casing. You know, retail price of that watch, it's unbelievable. It's $71,900. Ladies and gentlemen, this is getting disgusting. You know, this is getting disgusting. And I'm going to tell you to make it simple so we can finish this off already, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that Patek Complications World Time 5130 white gold with a 39.5 millimeter casing. You do whatever you want. I'm not even going to give you the price drop because it's disgusting. But don't pay more for a full set. Don't pay more than $41,000 and done. All right, guys. There's your watch market update for this. I believe today is, I don't know what today's day is, but that's your watch market update, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, use it to your advantage so you can protect yourself from all these hucksters and hoodwinks who have been flim-flamming you and fleecing you for too long. That's right. We're here to watch over you guys, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to protect you guys. We're here to protect your children's tuition money. We're here to protect your 401k. You know, we're not going to let them get you no more. You're not going to maintain no more of their lifestyle. No, it ain't going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have also a private watch group. It's under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves. It's on Facebook. Scroll down to About, and you'll find there Opusntime Watches. And maybe Sweet Samantha and Sweet Kikino will let you in, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, like me and Sweet Kikino say always, you know, we say always to you guys, you know, take care and don't forget to brush your hair. Good night, guys.